Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week, we talk about planning kid birthday parties, the anxiety of baby fevers, and emergency room trips. We hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's see. We're trying to do our two basic questions of, since the last time we met up was something that brought you joy.
Yes.
And something that was more of a frustration than you thought it would be. I'll go first for something that was a joy. So in January and February, we have an insane 2-week period. So Magnolia's birthday is January 23rd. Our wedding anniversary is February 2nd, and Holly's birthday is February 6th. So in the span of 2 weeks,
got
we have
Valentine's.
2 kids' birthdays. We don't even, it's Valentine's Day, get that out of here. Yeah, I feel like Valentine's Day, we look up and we're like, if we haven't proven that we like each other after 2 kid birthday parties and a wedding anniversary, Valentine's Day, you don't stand a chance. So we did a birthday party for the kids, for the girls, yesterday. We try to do a joint birthday party if we can to get away with it, as opposed to doing 2 separate birthday parties.
Did it work?
Magnolia just turned 4. Holly will turn 6. We feel like it's probably the last time we can get away with it, because I feel like it's more about whenever they get their individual friend groups.
Yeah.
Like Holly has all of her friends at school, but she still has some of her friends from like her preschool, which is a preschool Magnolia still goes to. So like Magnolia's familiar with those friends,
Yeah.
so we can still blend those friend groups. But like in a year or two, we probably can't. Holly will be too much like, no, these are my friends, not yours, Magnolia. And I'll be like, well, they kind of are, so
Yeah.
I can't really argue with you. So yeah, we did some bouncy houses.
Oh, cool. In the
Maybe,
backyard?
No, we did. So the daycare that Magnolia goes to, they let us rent out their gym and rent out some bouncy houses. So
That is cool.
yeah, they do bouncy house days every once in a while.
Huh.
And so they gave me the contact information for the guy. There's maybe like 3 families, including ours, just kind of hanging out for like 2 hours. But
Yeah.
yes, planning a birthday party for a 4 and 6-year-old is pretty fun, I guess.
Heck yeah.
So
Because you get to be a kid again.
you get to be a kid again. I did not jump on the bouncy houses though.
What? Why not?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm too big.
I would have been
and
the first
think
one on there.
All the kids would have. I feel like I would have accidentally hurt a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so my friends Jason and Michelle had a bouncy house. So it was one of those bouncy houses where you can climb up and like go
slide
down a water slide
Yeah, those are
as
cool.
well. And me and my friend Aaron Hall, we got in there and started playing with the kids. And one of them got hurt. It was actually the birthday boy.
Fantastic. So since I'm 6'4", I feel like whenever I walk, my knees are basically this close to hitting a kid, either in the chest or in the nose,
Oh
depending on
yeah,
the height of a
you're the
kid.
perfect height.
Yeah, so me jumping on a bouncy house would just be like, no, I'm gonna break a kid's nose just by jumping. I don't want to do this. But what about you? What's since last time we met up? What's something that's been fun or enjoying or enjoyable?
Enjoyable for me, well, not being sick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll get into that as being something that's been super stressful
Yes.
as well. But Ada's getting to that point where she's really starting to like look at you and smile and laugh, and oh man, I love it. Just her looking at me and then having that grin of just, that's my dad.
It's so cool. Whenever your kid starts to actually have reactions and you can predict the reactions a little bit, it's it's a really huge connection point.
Yeah.
I feel like, Josh does so many big smiles whenever you make eye contact with them. Whenever you make eye contact with something or someone and they smile at you, it's a very connecting experience.
You
and
feel
it's really
good.
fun.
You feel good inside.
You do. Whenever a baby looks at you and smiles, because there's so much purity to that smile.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a pure, innocent, happy smile. Just being like, you're here and I'm here. This is great, man. This
And
is
you're
a
always
good
hoping
time.
that they are smiling instead of looking at you and crying.
Yes, that's true.
Oh God, did I do something or
Do you,
do I
has-
look scary?
Has Ada had many? I feel like Josh will have, or every baby has like bipolar moments where like Josh will scream himself to sleep and then he'll laugh in his sleep.
She has never.
You've
done
never
it.
experienced that?
She smiled once or twice in her sleep.
Okay.
But as far as crying herself to sleep, again once or twice.
Oh.
She basically just wants to be happy before she goes to sleep.
Oh, that's cute. You're like, if you got a good vibe going, I'll just nod out, man.
Yep.
I'll be
Yep.
good.
She has to be just copacetic and stress free. Like usually after a bottle.
Yeah.
And yeah, but she will not go down if she is angry or fussy.
I mean, that's fair. If I'm angry, I don't sleep very well.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yes. But no, yeah, Josh will like sometimes he'll like cry and then fall asleep and like kind of like cry a little bit more, and then we finally get him settled down, and then he'll just be like asleep, and you'll hear,
That's hilarious.
and I'm like, did you plan? Like, I know you can't be malicious, you can't be mean. You're only like 5 months old, but like, did you just scream in my face and then laugh at me afterwards after I had to calm you down at the same time? You might have.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Or he's having some really funny dreams.
I think he's laughing at me. That's really
okay.
what. That's my assumption here.
Yeah. No, Ada lately has been like, she'll fall asleep and then wake up crying.
Yeah.
And then you have to soothe her again.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll fall back asleep. And it's mainly like having her pacifier. She
really
wants to sleep with the pacifier. And as soon as that pacifier drops out, then she gets all fussy.
Yes. How's her ability to like grab stuff?
She's doing really good.
Nice.
Yeah. So in her little play gym, things are jangling down. It's got like little hoops and stuffed animals. So she's actually grabbing them. And then she'll grab her passy out of her mouth and hold it. And then she'll put it back in her mouth.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
Josh is a big fan of grabbing it, pulling it out of his mouth, and then being like, "Where did that go?" And I'm like, "We had this set up, man. You were good. You're the one doing this, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm projecting a lot onto my baby, as you can tell.
I can tell. No, she's also Ada is also grabbing Haley's hair.
Oh, that's not fun.
No. Yeah, she's just now starting to put it up in a bun, so like it's out of the way. You can't grab it anymore.
Yeah, whenever Josh is a really big fan of grabbing Heather's hair, and whenever I go to take him, I grab him like underneath the armpits and I hold him so Heather can then detach the hair.
Yep.
Because I think the first couple months I would be like, "Oh, here, I'll grab it," and I'm like, "Oh no, I just ripped out some of your hair." This is not a positive experience for anyone.
Yep.
So yes, I like grab him and then I just stand still while Heather like readjusts and make sure she's not about to have her scalp ripped off at the same time.
Yep.
So.
That's happened to me. Or I will be the one that's trying to separate her hair.
And you're like kind of holding with one arm, and the other hand's kind of like trying to pry open a death grip from a baby hand at the same time.
The stressful thing for me in these past couple of weeks goes along with the her just getting over that sickness. But man, she was sick she still has a cold, but almost 2 weeks now, 2 full weeks.
Yeah.
Very beginning, it was rough. It was really scary. Weren't sure what it was. We had to go to the doctor like 3 times.
Did she like spike a fever, or was she just really mucusy?
She was, really mucusy and coughing.
Yeah.
At the very beginning. And then I think it was that Friday or Saturday, the week after she initially got sick, she started to spike a fever. And it was actually that Saturday, because Friday we found out she had an ear infection as well. So she spiked a fever, really lethargic.
Yeah.
Then would scream her head off. We were like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. We were giving her the medicine, giving her Tylenol, propping her bed up. We would go into the shower for multiple times for a good hour or so with all
the steam.
Yeah, the steam going. That seemed to help out quite a bit. But man, that night that she spiked that fever and like was lethargic and like could barely keep her eyes open, I was like, we were both freaking out.
It's a pretty scary moment.
Yeah. First time baby getting sick, man, I don't wish that on anybody.
No, it's not very fun. And there's not really like, there's no version of that story that should be like, you were cool and calm and didn't think it was that big of a deal. Whenever your baby is that little and they have a fever, I think once the personality changes, whenever I get worried.
Yeah.
Because like a kid that has a high temperature, but they're still like babbling around and like talking and acting normal, I'm like, oh, cool, you're spiking high right now. But whenever the kid has the high temperature and they have the glassy eyes, I'm like, do we need to go to the emergency room? Am I overreacting? Am I caring for you well enough? Like, how do I make you be a little bit more yourself? Because you clearly are feeling really bad right now.
Yeah. So that night we actually had to call the doctor's hotline. So our doctor has, I guess, a phone number that you can call, and somebody on call will call you back. And they called us back. We told them everything. And she was like, just stay calm. And if the temperature is still there after about 24 to 48 hours, then go to the emergency room.
Yeah, if Tylenol doesn't touch it.
Correct. Yeah, she was like, just keep doing what you're doing, because we tried everything. And she was like, just keep doing what you're doing. Check her temperature constantly. If it goes down,
That's great.
Then you're good. And the next morning it was going down. Like we took it, I think every hour to 2 hours just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
And it was a drastic decrease.
That's good.
So, but man, just hearing her like coughing and having that mucus and wheezing.
I can't think of any time on which I would be wheezing and it'd be a good situation.
Yeah.
Like I don't know someone who's like they wheeze when they breathe, and I'm like, yeah, man, they're
Yeah.
getting it. They're doing something right with their life.
Well, I have asthma.
Yeah.
So, I mean, since I was 5, I think. And, I mean, I had it really bad back then. Had nebulizers, would have to take every 4 hours. Like, my mom would come to the school.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go to the nurse's station and take a breathing treatment. So, knowing, like, having those asthma attacks and wheezing and not being able to breathe that well, I knew what she was feeling.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate that for you.
Yeah, of course.
Well, what about you?
Oh man, planning kids' birthday parties. Feel like I'm not as good of keeping up with details as I used to be. I feel like whenever like there's a lot going on, I feel like more it takes me longer to sort through and make sure I've communicated everything correctly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, cool. How many people have we invited? How many people have said yes? And I'm just like, I know I have this written down. Like, my wife and I have a Slack channel in which we created Slack for our relationship. And we have like I think I've talked to this before.
You have.
We have like multiple chat rooms of like what's going on. So like I have a Slack channel of like who has said yes, how many people are coming, what all do we need. Like I've communicated everything, but still like I'm like, I feel like 5 years ago, whenever I didn't have 3 kids, I would have been able to like know all of this off the top of my head. And it just feels weird to be like, no, I feel like I'm writing stuff down and I still feel like I'm not communicating stuff, or I'm not like accounting for everything. Not that I'm not communicating, but like I feel like there's still some angle that I haven't accounted for.
Does that go back to the parent brain fog?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I'm also the type of person who assumes there's some angle I haven't thought of, or I like to be intentional. I like to consider things.
Yeah.
So I think what comes with that is assuming I haven't considered everything. I feel like that's a characteristic of a considerate person, is I always think there's more they should have been considerate about to some extent. You know?
You're just a good guy, man.
Trying to be decent, you know? But yeah, that's like not even that bad of a thing. More just the reality of being older and having 3 kids.
Yeah.
And more just like, oh man, I feel like I used to be quicker mentally. I feel like I used to be able to be like, I feel like whenever we got done on Saturday after we cleaned up after the party, God picked up the bouncy houses. I was like, I'm legitimately tired, and it's only like 1:30 on a Saturday. And I'm like, should I have more energy than this? No, I probably shouldn't, but am I just now realizing that that my energy level is not what it used to be? Yeah. Yeah,
well,
I am.
You do have 3 kids.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
You're getting older.
Oh, crap.
Yep.
Time waits for no man.
That's right. It's part of being old.
Not as bad as having a sick kid. You've luckily you've never had to take a kid to the emergency room, or like a baby to the emergency room.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Who?
Magnolia. She had seizures whenever she was born.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a hereditary thing on my side of the family.
Do you have?
I had seizures whenever I was born. It just happens like in your first year of being alive, or like first week really, where you have seizures and then they like never replicate themselves again. But so it's called like 5th day fits or something like that. And basically on like the 6th day of being alive, you have seizures for like 24 hours and you go to the emergency room. So it's how I was whenever I was 6 days old. It's how Magnolia was whenever she was 6 days old.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a great time to hold a 6-day-old as they have seizures. But I mention that because whenever you go to an emergency room, my mom told me, which was really helpful, mostly what doctors are doing is ruling out what it can and cannot be. So like they did it, like I think they did a CT scan. They definitely did a spinal tap. Like they run your child through so many things just to see what's not wrong, not necessarily what is wrong. And it's not a fun experience to have your kid go through multiple, what feels like an invasive test for a 6-day-old.
Yeah,
but I'm glad you avoided the emergency room, because she might have had to have a spinal tap. They might have had to do like all these scans on her just to be like, hey, what's not wrong with her? Because we have to figure out what's wrong, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you didn't have to go to the emergency room, because stuff is, not that it's about control, but like everything stops being in your control. Then you basically say, I don't know what's wrong with my kid. Can you help me to a doctor? And the doctor goes, cool, let's start all these tests, because that's how I find out. And then you're like, but I don't want this test.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this situation.
So Ada just got her 4-month shots.
Oh, yeah.
Like the week before she got sick. And man, she did not like those.
No, Josh did not like his 4-month shots either. He was very...
Oh man, she was screaming, and we have a little deer with a pacifier on the end of it.
Yeah.
Just clenching that.
Seriously?
Oh, she was just clenching it with pain. That was her coping mechanism. And it just hurt my heart to see that. So I can't even imagine a spinal tap.
Yeah, they make you leave the room.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, they know.
Probably because
they know it's going to be a bad situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
No, they were like, "Hey, we have to do this. So if you guys want to go to this waiting room for a couple of minutes, we'll call you back in whenever we're done." And it was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be in here for that."
Yeah. So when you went back in, like, was she in a lot of pain?
She was 6 days old, so she was just kind of screaming at everything anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Man, 6 days old.
Yeah, it's very little. It's a very tiny child.
Yeah.
So.
Especially to do a spinal tap on. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Because I bet the shot's like the size of her spinal.
Basically, right? My uncle, since it's hereditary, his daughter had that happen to her too, and he told me that they actually had to come back the next day and do a second spinal tap because they didn't get a good enough like sample from the spinal tap they did. So I'm like, hey, you know what? It can always be worse, can't it?
Gosh. So it only lasted for 24 hours? Though?
Yeah, 24 hours. They got her on like a bunch of meds. We were under observation for like, I feel like we were in the hospital, I feel like, for 4 or 5 days. So they observed it, made sure the medicine they gave her worked, and then we gave her like anti-seizure medicine for like a full year, and had to do like EEGs on her skull or on her brain to make sure like she didn't have any abnormal brain waves.
Yeah.
So she doesn't.
You weaned her off the medicine, or
we weaned her.
Cold
yeah,
turkey?
and what's fun is right whenever we weaned her. So there's a thing, I forget what type of seizure it's called, but if your kid has a fever and then you give them Tylenol and they drop down to not having a fever, kids can have a seizure from that sometimes. So the same month we weaned her off of her seizure medication, she had that type of seizure.
Oh.
So like she hadn't had a seizure for like a full year. She was good. And she was like really fussy. She was teething. So I gave her some Tylenol and she had a seizure. And I was like, oh my God, we made the wrong decision. We shouldn't have started weaning her. Like this was a bad thing. Took her into the doctor. Doctor was like, no, everything, like she's fine, but that's scary. So yeah.
It was all because of Tylenol and the fever.
Yep. Or like that drop from having a fever to not. For whatever reason, made her have a seizure. The best part, it was on April Fool's Day.
Oh no.
Worst joke ever, middle child.
When you texted Heather, did she think
she was
you were
like,
joking?
seriously? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not joking. Can you come out here right now?
Have you ever been to the ER any other times?
No, I
with your
haven't,
kids?
luckily. With 3 children.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on wood and desk.
I'll help
I've
you.
avoided the ER all but one time.
Man, that's got to be just super scary. I
Yes.
can't even imagine. Because going through just what we did here and having to take her to just the doctor 3 times.
It's funny is like, I feel like if my kid broke their arm or something like that, where there's a really clear, like your arm is broken, go to doctor, get it set, you'll be fine. I feel like my anxiety level for that would be like still high, but not like spiraling.
Yeah, because
whenever
you
your
know.
kid has a fever, you don't know what's wrong with them. They're crying, they have fluid leaking out of their ears. You're like, I think this is an ear infection, but are you okay, child?
Yeah. Yeah, with the broken arm, okay, you know she's going to live.
Yeah.
Just has to get it set and casted or whatever.
Yeah,
and
you watch
be
the
done.
kid fall off the monkey bars. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's a broken arm. All right, let's go. We're going to the emergency room. We're going right now.
But yeah, we had no idea. And we're like, we can't give you medicine other than the children's Tylenol.
Yeah.
But like, there's really nothing except for humidifier, putting her bed up
making her sleep at an angle so hopefully she doesn't have postnasal drip.
And then the shower, and that was it.
Yeah.
But no, what was really fun, I think it's called a Frida or something like that.
Yeah, the Frida, where you suck the mucus out of their nose.
Sucking mucus out of your kid's nose.
It's a new experience.
Such a delight. Oh my
Isn't
gosh.
it has a filter in it. This should just be clear if you haven't heard this before. There's a filter in the thing so the mucus doesn't go into your mouth. You did do that, correct?
Yes.
You did not.
But it's not even a real filter. It's like it's a sponge.
It's a sponge at the bottom of a
and I'm pretty sure that's why me and Haley got sick. Yeah. I'm a germaphobe.
Right.
So sucking mucus out of my kid's nose. But it was my kid. So just like wiping her butt and cleaning up her poop, anybody else's, I'd be like, oh god,
No,
nope,
thank you.
can't do that. But with her, I'm okay.
Sure, I'll figure it out. I'll do
Yeah.
it. The list of things that you become desensitized to as a parent, I feel like would be a hilarious list.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, like I never touched human poop before having a kid. Like I never did that. That wasn't a thing I was into. Now I'm just like, oh, a kid pooped, fine. Give me some wipes. I'll maybe give me some. Do you have hand sanitizer nearby? Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Let's go. But like 7 years ago, I'd have been like, no, that's disgusting. Get me away from.
Oh yeah. I mean, Ada pooped in my hand one time, and I was just like, that is gross. But surprisingly, I'm not throwing up right now.
Did you manage to not move your hand? I feel like if a kid poops in my hand, I've done that before where like a kid pees on me and I stuck my hand up like as a shield to stop it because I'm like, no, don't pee on me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, stop peeing. And then like it sprays off my hand onto the wall and I'm like, this would have been better if I would have just gotten peed on. This would have been less to clean up. When Ada pooped in your hand, did you just sit there and go, this might as well happen? Or did you like shake, did you go, oh God, and like start
No.
moving your hand?
I was actually pretty calm about it. So
That's good.
I was taking her from the changing table into the bathtub,
Yeah, okay.
and I was laying her down into her little bathtub, and I had my hand underneath her butt
Yeah, absolutely.
and her neck, and she just pooped on my hand. And I was like, oh, she just pooped on my hand. I stayed calm, and I was like, all right, babe, I'm going to go
So I
wash
have to-
my hands
I
now.
have to deal with this?
Yes. But then I came back and was fine.
Yeah. All right, Justin, I think I hear a kid crying in the background. Should we wrap up this episode?
Let's do it.
We really hope you enjoyed that episode. Please make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nashville Dads. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.